SAA Express made a small net profit of about 650,000 rand for the past financial year. That's compared to a loss of 366 million rand in 2012. The airline says the improvement was mainly due to increases in passenger fares. Cost saving of about 129 million rand have also helped. The company says it hopes to avoid asking for a bailout from government.
We are going through a process of a funding plan right now to really establish if the company was properly funded in the first place. However, on our side, we as management, we have to focus on operational excellence to make sure that at any time the company is sustainable on its own as well. So, I mean, to where we are now, we see that there's potential for sustainability going forward.
Public Enterprises Minister Malusi Gigaba has welcomed the slight improvement in the airline's financial position. He's demanded a comprehensive network strategy from the airline that focuses on the Southern African region.
We need to enter the cargo transportation sector and ensure that we become important players in that regard. And what has held us back is obviously the balance sheets of our airlines. And I think once we address those and are able to robustly implement our fleet replacement program, both for SAA and SAA Express, we are going to increase our participation in the African continent.
The airline's results received a qualified audit from the Auditor General, something the minister says is an improvement from a disclaimer it received in 2012. One issue the Auditor General is still concerned about is the airline's inability to account for irregular expenditure. Liuta Motlogelwa, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Now, one of the faces that you saw in that particular package is the CEO of SAA Express, INATI NTSHANGA, and he joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. You must be a pretty happy man. Marginal profits, but a profit is better than heavy loss.
Thank you very much, Peter. Yeah. It is much better. I think it's put a lot of pressure actually on us, because now we have to show and maintain and sustain the profits going forward. And so, yeah, it's a good time, but it means that if we can do it now, we can do it, I guess, going forward again.
So you've kind of turned things around a little bit. I'm wondering, how did you do it? What were the things that you did that arrested the rot, as it were?
You know, the Japanese always say that crisis, never spoil a good crisis. And I think we had to sit around the table with the people of SAA Express and say, guys, things are rough, as you have seen, a 365 million rand loss the year before, and another loss the previous year. So we had to sit around with the employees and say, what is it that we can do as the employees to really turn this thing around? And we as management had targeted a 70 million rand profit, but the employees were able to come with about 129 million rand profit. There were other savings, of course. We had to rationalize the route network a little bit to make sure that we don't put too much capacity in the market and fly with empty flights. So we sweat the assets a little bit. We increased our occupancy from 63% to 69%. And there were also other cost savings, making sure that we don't, we don't leave aircraft running on the runway with fuel. We use different ways. We use tugs to move aircraft around. So, and of course, as you would note, fuel was the biggest challenge, and the rand-dollar exchange. So the cost.
So you've mentioned a number of things, and I'm looking at, okay, so you've steadied the ship, cut a lot of operating costs, but once you've cut them, you can't do much more. Fuel costs are beyond your control by and large. Syria is in flames, so one doesn't know what's happening in the Middle East, and that would affect your fuel price. I'm wondering, is this sustainable? Are we likely, given it was some marginal profit, to slip back in the coming financial year?
We are pretty positive that we're going to do everything within our powers to make sure that we remain sustainable. There are things that we're doing. For example, the fleet that we have, the current fleet, the Q400s are very fuel efficient. Our fuel bill is probably the lowest in the country as a percentage of turnover. We have older aircraft. We are looking at replacing them over the next few years, and of course we'll be replacing them with new generation aircraft that will be more fuel efficient than the current one. They are also, sometimes you cannot also shrink yourself into growth, into profitability all the time. There is a time that you will start cutting the bone. So what we are going to do going forward now is to start looking at growth. We've already started a base in Durban. We're already flying to Harare and between Durban and Harare and Durban and Lusaka. And there's more routes that we are going to introduce from there. And of course, there's always the continent of Africa, where there are still areas where there's no, there's no air services. So we are busy studying the continent, and we would
But your competitors are thinking exactly the same thing. So why would I get into your plane instead of a competitor's?
Well, one of the, especially in the continent of Africa, one of the areas of, they always say first mover advantage. So speed is critical. Whoever moves first will be the one, not the biggest, but whoever moves first will be the one who actually conquers the continent. But to get into our aircraft, I mean, we offer the best service, we believe, in the country. So there's a lot of things that would make you want to fly with us. We are also we offer a lot of value for money. We try to offer, as you can see, the profits are very marginal. So we try to give back to the passengers by charging the right fares as well.
How do you continue to compete against these low-budget carriers? Because those are increasing as well, and a lot of people now are just saying, maybe I don't need the sandwiches on the flight to Bloemfontein. Let me just catch a cheaper flight.
Maybe don't give us ideas, Peter, because you never know. Especially now, and if you look at most countries, the sandwiches have gone even on legacy airlines. So don't give me ideas. But there are, I mean, we always try and operate on low-cost principles, meaning we really are vigilant about costs. So if you look now, there's really no real low cost in this country. There's a convergence. The prices are very similar between all the airlines in South Africa, because we fly to the same airports. The cost of the airport is the same for a low cost for any other airline. So there's no cost advantage to being low cost anymore. So we believe that we are at the right price, just like anybody else.
So how do you relate with South African Airways? How does the operation work with South African Airways? Because I would imagine that South African Airways strategically can place you in a certain arena that's kind of protected, and they can pick up some of the slack.
No, not really. I mean, we are, as you know, we're a separate entity from SAA. We run our own operations. We have got our own technical department. We share the same shareholder, but we have different vision. We coexist. We coexist. We coexist, and we try to create a seamless network between ourselves and SAA. You probably know about the long-term turnaround strategy of SAA. SAA Express has introduced the SAX 2020 vision, which is very aligned to the LTTS strategy. And the idea there is to really work closer to offer a seamless service to our passengers. Make sure we fly the right aircraft at the right time to the right destination. So there's going to be a lot of working together with South African Airways. But we're still in charge of our profit and loss statement, and they won't just be nice to us. We still, like big brother and younger brother, we do have our who's eating who's lunch. And
all right. Look, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but what kind of growth? In fact, we've run out of time, sadly, so we're going to have to leave it there. But congratulations on your results. We certainly wish you the best of luck, and we hope the rand continues to work in your favor.
Whichever that is.
INATI, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.